Welcome back to the women's final here at the 2012 QubicaAMF World Cup in Wroclaw in Poland. Fantastic bowling centre here, the Sky Bowling Centre. There's a real high-tech feel to the whole setup. And can we get a bit of old-school magic from Guerra to create a record which I think we're going to have to wait a long, long time to see equalled? 3 titles back-to-back on the World Cup. She and Jeanette Baker have managed to get 2 titles back-to-back, but this is to claim that record for herself and be out on her own. But this is the woman that could spoil the party, Shayna Ng, and certainly Cass Edwards was showing some signs towards the end of that first game, which she lost, that she got her act together with those 4 strikes, but I'm afraid those signs now look to be over.
Yeah, it must be a bit frustrating for not only for Shayna but also for Remy Ong there in the red shirt, the former world champion from Singapore and her coach for the tournament. When she strikes, she looks good. When she's out of the pocket, just doesn't mix up very much, does it? So she starts with a spare. What has she got to do? Well, first of all, she's got to stop Umi from striking, which is obvious. And then she's got to start throwing a few herself. And I'm not talking 2s and 3s. I'm talking 4s, 5s and 6 in a row. And that's the starter.
Yeah, I think you're right, Cass. It does feel like she's got to throw a big block here. Whereas Umi really just needs to try and stay on track. I just worry a little bit sometimes that, you know, Guerra does get very emotional, and she was punching the air at the end of that first game, and this job is not done.
Yeah, it's as you say, it's an emotional thing. It's an excitement type thing, but she's so cool when she's not showing us her body language. She knows exactly what she's doing on this lanes, and she has been all week. So I'm sure she's very, very confident. So she won in 2010 and 2011. She was 5th in 2006 and 7th in 2007. Yeah, so this is the 5th time that she's qualified for the World Cup from the Dominican Republic. And as you mentioned earlier, Simon, you don't get invited back if you win. You have to re-qualify through your own bowling federation country tournament.
And that whole Caribbean zone has some quality players. So she's not just playing in tournaments on her own, she's got a real battle on her hands to get through. And the same can be said of the likes of Singapore and Malaysia and that whole Pacific Rim zone. That really is a hotbed of talent, and that's why Shayna Ng is such a good player. Maybe not a household name yet, but certainly has the quality to cause Guerra problems, and just needs to find that area on the lane that she played so well against Kirsten Penny.
She's no stranger to bowling on television. She's plays the Asian Tour, and as fact, believe it or not, she's had a televised 300 game back in 2010 and during the Asian Games. Shot the magic 12 in a row in the final on TV, so they don't come along every day. We'll be back on.
The bowlers in Singapore are extremely well known. They are household names in their own country, treated as superstars, and do produce results at a consistently high level on the international stage. Now, Guerra, for the first time since that opening frame of this final, with a slightly more nervous expression on her face. I think we'll see a little bit of emotion coming through if she can string a few more together. God, those slaps must hurt. Poor old Craig.
Poor Craig, yeah. Well, his bowling hand as well. So we're up to the halfway stage already, and it's pretty even.
Now, to me, looks as if Shayna has just taken a tiny little move to her right. I wonder if she'll do that on the left-hand lane as well. It certainly worked for the right hand.
Yeah, well, she may have noticed that the lane or lane conditioner's broken down a little bit, and it's a testing time.
Oh, both corner pins out simultaneously. That would have just had the heart in the mouth for a second.
Spares the 7-10. great
all in one shot. Very clever.
All in one shot. But the interesting thing is it's 4 strikes in a row.
Well, that's what you said she had to do, Cass.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've got to look out, because this little powerhouse is also looking to make 4 in a row here. It's all very, very close. It's a strike fest from both players.
Now a double here for Guerra on this visit to add to the strikes that she already has would surely set it up. She is on for this 3 in a row. She really is.
Well, that actually makes 5 strikes in a row, and she's going to, if she can strike off, she's got a 280 game, and that's going to be difficult to beat. But if NG strikes off, she's going to be 290. That would be just ludicrous scores.
But befitting of a World Cup final. This is what the fans have come to see. You want a high-scoring contest, but ideally you want a close contest as well. And that's what these two are producing in Game 2. And Guerra, I'm sure, trying to keep some of those thoughts at bay, has to just concentrate on the job in hand rather than the prize at the end of this. Brilliant. This is very, very good from NG in Game 2.
Fantastic. That's 7 in a row. So pressure must be on Guerra now. She must realise, well, this girl can strike as much as I can. So anything that's not a strike, well, the score's going to be going backwards. So every ball is an important ball.
A shout from Woodhouse there. That was nearly a baby split.
It was high through the face of the number 1 pin. It left the 4 and the 6 pin standing for a fraction. The 4 pin's gone, but it's a spare as well. 5 strikes in a row and a spare. And a full start because one of the cameramen was moving.
Yeah, a little bit of movement. I mean, everybody's trying to do their job, but unfortunately from Guerra's point of view, that can be very, very off-putting indeed. And it is quite an unusual setup for this final. You've already mentioned about the lanes, Cass, but the way the crowd are around it and behind the glass panel, the way some of the VIPs as well are seated, this is quite a tricky environment to get used to for the final. And a little stick on the lane as well, so everything against Guerra there.
She can strike off for 259. That's what the difference spare makes. She's up for the foundation frame. It's frame number 9. Shayna NG sitting with 7 strikes in a row. Ooh, and again it's high through the head pin. Got a bit lucky there in the foundation.
Honestly, Cass, I think Guerra was over-revving coming into this second game, and she's going to have to calm it down if it goes to 3. Shayna's still got to put the lid on this one, but I think this is going the distance.
Well, that's striking the 9th, and that's 8 in a row. She's just got to keep the ball on the lanes, and she will actually can shut out Guerra. Shayna can go 260 plus with a spare and a strike in the 10th frame.
Not quite, left the 7. Smile from Ray Woodhouse confirms that Guerra is technically still in it. Something almost Remy-ong about this performance here from Shayna. We've seen Remy do this on a number of occasions, very scientific with his approach to this sport. And he is a player that will dig himself out of trouble, find a line and then strike it off the sheet for the win.
Simon, 1 pin will be enough to shut out Guerra, even if she can strike out. It's not going to go in the channel. She's going to hit some pins and take 8.
That'll do.
And she will score 267, which is a really good game. And it's going to be enough to tie this one up at 1-all, no matter what Umi can do.
Guerra, as with all 10-pin bowling matches, will bowl this one to its conclusion, even though this particular game is dead. It is 1-all, but Guerra here, I think this is probably the most important part of this entire tournament for the Dominican Republic bowler. She's got to settle things down out on the lane. She was just getting a little carried away emotionally, and she's paid the price, and now it's back to square one.
Simon, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think you're absolutely spot on with that little bit of aggression that was showing, which is okay, but there can be too much. And yes, she's using these last couple of frames, last couple of shots, just to relax herself. That she's still in the pocket. The line's good, and it's going to go to overtime. It will be 1-all, and everything to shoot for.
Turned into a bit of a roller coaster ride, this one for Guerra. And as Cass Edwards says, we are evens heading into the third and final game for this World Cup title. Coming up after the break. Stay with us.